friends, today I wanted to do a video about some differences between America and Europe. And the reason that I decided to do this is because my husband and I just came back from a very wonderful trip to London. Now this was my third trip to Europe. I've also been to Germany and to France, and this was his second trip to Europe. And I know that there are a lot of guests at Disney World that come from Europe, particularly from England. I noticed the British a lot in August when we go, and I've been told that, and I don't know if this is true, but I've been told that they have a break in August. So I thought this would be interesting for guests from Europe, particularly from England, but really from Europe, to hear of some differences that they may notice when they come to the United States, particularly if you have never been here before. So I have my list here, so let's get started. The first thing I think you're gonna notice is that we have way more water fountains and public bathrooms. Now, at least, I don't remember in Germany, but I know in Paris and in London, I don't think I saw a single public water fountain, except for in St. James's Park. I did see one there, but like on the street, I did not see a single public water fountain. In the public bathrooms, you have to pay to use. Now that is not the case in the United States. Especially in Disney World, I think you're really gonna think that we have a huge number of water fountains and bathrooms. I think that's gonna really be a shock for people from Europe. Oh, and the other thing I want to say is that the bathrooms are free. Now, if you go to a restaurant, or like a gas station or something like that, it's kind of the rule that you buy something before you use their bathroom. You don't just go in to use their bathroom and then leave. I think that's probably pretty standard everywhere. But in Disney World, where they just have the bathrooms kind of scattered about, not inside a restaurant, they're just free. You don't have to pay at all to use them. On the same note of the bathrooms, I think you're going to find that there is far less privacy in the bathrooms. Now, the bathrooms I remember especially in London, the ones that were the public bathrooms, the doors and the walls go almost to the floor. There's like maybe 6 inches of space at the bottom, and then there's no gap in the door, and they go very high. Comparatively, the ones in the United States, there is a big gap at the bottom, over a foot. And there's you can see through the cracks in the sides of the door and at the top. And I wish we had bathrooms like you have in Europe, because I really prefer them. But alas, that's what we're stuck with. Like I said, in August, we have seen a lot of guests from Britain. And one time I was in the bathroom and I was washing my hands, and a girl came out of the bathroom stall by her family or friends, whoever, and she said, "The toilets flush automatically." She was so excited. And yes, we have automatic flushing toilets here in the United States. It didn't occur to me that those do not occur in Europe, but we have them here. Now, you don't have them in your room, and people don't have them in their homes, but they're just the public toilets. But yes, we have toilets that flush automatically, which also means that sometimes they flush when you aren't done, or they don't flush. Sometimes they don't always work great, but there's always a button for you to press as well if you have to. Another thing that is very obvious, I think, a very obvious difference between Europe and the United States is outside of Disney, we do not have very good public transportation. I mean, some cities have buses and the larger cities have subways, but it is nothing like it is in London or in Paris. We just don't have the public transportation. That being said, Disney is fantastic. They have very good public transportation. And if you're there, it's all free. Even if you're just going for the day, I guess I should say, you can use the monorail and the buses and the boats and stuff like that. But if you're going to use the Disney's Magical Express transportation from Orlando International Airport, which is the airport code MCO, to your hotel, you have to be staying on site. But that's free as well. If you are coming from London specifically, I think you'll notice that the United States is quite a bit less expensive than London, like for food and stuff. And I know that that changes based on the exchange rate at any given time, but London is definitely expensive compared to the United States. Now, like I had mentioned that we were just in London. In addition to things being less expensive here than in London, stores are open way later. In London, things were closing at like 5 or 6 o'clock, which was just crazy to us. Things are just open here. Stores are just open much later than they are in London. We also have a ridiculous number of choices. We went to a grocery store when we were in England, and they had like 3 types of cereal, which was just insane to me. I mean, here, if you go to a grocery store, you will notice over 15 types of cereal. I mean, we just have way more choices. And I know that's pretty common in all of Europe, that, you know, we need to have more than 10 different types of laundry detergent and things like that. We just have way more choices in general in things in the store than you do in Europe. Now, something I had mentioned in my cultural video was that Americans seem to have a bigger bubble and that we like more space. In addition, we also seem to have more space in our homes, apartments, hotel rooms. Specifically for Disney, you'll notice, and that's not to say everybody, some people have small homes and apartments, but comparatively, I think the hotel rooms are, on average, quite a bit bigger in the United States than they are in Europe. And I'm assuming that's just because it's newer and we had this space in the land to build, so we built them bigger and more spacious. But I know that's frequently a challenge for Americans going to Europe. When you're getting a hotel, you feel really cramped because we're just used to having so much more space. Another thing is especially at Disney World, you'll notice that we have significantly more wheelchairs and electric wheelchair users here than in Europe. And I don't know if that's because we have more disabled people or if it's because we are more accommodating so people take advantage of it. But you will notice, especially in Disney, that there are way more people in wheelchairs. Lastly, you will notice that the water at restaurants is free. If you ask for water at a restaurant, they will give you regular still water in a glass and it's free. You don't have to specify. In Europe, you have to specify, at least the places I've been in Europe, we've had to specify still tap water. If you just say water, they may bring you sparkling water, or they may bring you bottled water, and then you have to pay for it. But no, in the United States, if you just ask for water at a sit-down restaurant, it is free, and they will just come and pour your glass and it'll be still water. Now, if you are at a quick service restaurant at Disney World, you can ask for a cup of water. Now, if you just ask for water there, they might give you a bottle of water that you would have to pay for. But if you just say, oh, can I just have a cup of water? They will give it to you for free as well. So I just thought this was kind of interesting, some of the differences between the United States and Europe. And I hope you found this helpful or at least interesting. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye.